Hi, it's Laura at Aquamarine18. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. Welcome or welcome back. This is my first installment of the December Tarot Challenge holiday themed started by Papa Squirrel. I will link his video explaining the series below, as well as a list of all of the prompts. I'm aspiring to get something out for every day of the 31 days, but they are definitely going to be in batches. So today I will be sharing days 1 to 5 using the Slow Holler Tarot. So without further ado, day 1 is what major arcana card reminds you of the holiday season and why. And I picked a few. I know that not all of these are ones that will be new. I know that several other folks, for example, chose the Hermit. This Hermit card for me reminds me of the holiday season, as it is a card of reflection and of taking stock, and also this particular Hermit looks like they are hibernating, and trying to keep warm with this flame amidst what looks like a snowy backdrop. And for me, this season is definitely a time where I am hibernating. Other major arcana cards that remind me of this season in this deck are the Kindred and the Navigator, and these are major arcanas 3 and 4. So the Kindred would be the Empress and the Navigator would be the Emperor. And the Kindred, I don't know if you'll be able to see here, there's a lot of different animals in the card and a beautiful hearth there with some food and drink, and there's some cuddling happening. Just in a beautiful environment. And so this one reminds me of the holiday season when it comes to spending time with family and just feeling at home and getting cozy and feeling love and being in a loving environment during the holiday. Whereas the Navigator in this particular deck, one of the phrases that is associated with the Navigator in this deck is participating in social norms without internalizing them. And I feel like at this time of year, there's a lot of things going on that I struggle with in various kinds of ways. Certainly the real kind of pressure to buy a lot of things, which of course always exists, but I feel like is really amplified around this time of year. And also, being around family, seeing family who, not all of whom do I necessarily have the most straightforward relationship with. I have great relationships with my, immediate family, parents and siblings and grandmother. Beyond that, I think things do get a little bit more complicated. And so for me, having good boundaries at this time is really important in terms of taking care of myself, in those kinds of contexts. So those are the major arcana cards I chose. Day 2, what minor arcana card reminds you of the holiday season and why? And I'm looking down because I wrote down the questions. The minor arcana card that I chose to remind me of the holiday season, and I did only pick one this time, is the Ten of Stones, which would be the 10 of Pentacles. And in this card, we can see a home that is decorated. You can see behind me that my house is not decorated. We don't really do that. We see a decorated home there, and there's a bunch of people having a good time visible there in the background. And you can see that they've just enjoyed a big meal together with the dishes stacked up on the table there. And there's definitely a kind of celebratory, community-focused environment here, I think, around reciprocity and creating warm and welcoming environments for everyone. And there's also, of course, with the 10 of Stones or the 10 of Pentacles, that sense of completion or finality in the end of a cycle that comes with the 10. And with this time of year being the end of the calendar year, as the Gregorian calendar year, I do have those kinds of associations with this time as well. It's a time of kind of looking back at how the year has gone and thinking about the beginning of a new one. So it's a 10 of Stones. What is your favorite card in the deck and why? Is day number 3. And so I'll say for the next 2 prompts for favorite and least favorite, I went purely based on the deck that I'm using here, the Slow Hauler, and not kind of my favorite and least favorite cards in the deck in general. I don't really have a least favorite, for example, tarot card just in general terms. I like some cards and dislike some cards, I would say, in most decks that I have. So I just went very specifically with the particular deck instead of in general. I think some people have approached it both ways. So favorite cards in the deck and why. I really like the Fledgling, which is the Fool. This is one of the first cards that I saw in this deck, and I really liked it, so there's that component of it. But I really like the kind of sense that this Fool is simultaneously prepared with their backpack, but also, not entirely ready with their untied shoes. But it's a very active fledgling that is choosing to set out on a new journey and a new adventure. They've lit up their torch and they're going their own way, and it's not clear what's ahead of them, and they don't know what's ahead of them, but they're choosing to go on that adventure anyway. And so I really just like the feel of this Fool. I really like this Student of Branches, which it would be a Page of Wands, because I really like this imagery, which I hope is clear, that this person here is building a bridge. And so there's a lot of kind of enthusiasm in this card and a willingness to invest energy in something new, into getting to something new. And so I really just like that visual for that particular card. And I also really like the World card, because I like the elemental representations here in the corners with the elemental glyphs with different plants there. And I really like the idea of, the entirety of the apple tree being in the seed. So I really like that World card. Least favorite card in the deck and why. There's no cards that I really, really, really dislike in this deck, but, the Traveler of Branches, we know that other things where heads go is not my favorite thing, so I'll just say that one. Day 5, what are my divination challenges? I picked a few different cards for this one. I chose the 7 of Vessels in this deck to represent a divination challenge. I am sometimes challenged by the fact that I want to do all the things. I want to read all of the books. I want to explore all of the systems. I want to, learn about every theme and every history and every kind of thing related to divination, because it's something that I enjoy so much. So I can tend to, get really interested in one system, learning something new, and then get interested in something else and learning something new and get a bit scattered. And I think that this card represents that pretty well. I can sometimes struggle to really commit myself and say, okay, I'm going to learn this divination system and really just focus in, on one thing and really limit, what is actually necessary here, what's the best order to do things in, and kind of plan out better in that way. So that's definitely a challenge, just being like, oh, this looks exciting, that looks exciting, this looks exciting too, and bouncing from focus to focus at times. I'm working on it, but it's not always a bad thing. It's good to be enthusiastic, right, and be interested in things, but I can't read all the books, at least not at once. I can't learn all the systems, at least not at once. So some focus is sometimes a divination challenge for me. Also a challenge, I chose the Guild, which is the Hierophant, traditionally speaking, in this deck. And so definitely a challenge for me when it comes to divination and divination learning and interpretations can be grappling with quote-unquote traditional meanings that don't feel relevant, or with particular kinds of imagery that doesn't feel relevant to me, and finding ways to work with this system, with the tarot system, and other systems as well, but it's tarot vlogmas, so we'll say tarot. Finding ways to work with the tarot system, and I love the tarot system, without getting bogged down in ways of conceptualizing that system that don't work for me, and figuring out that kind of navigation, I think, can be a divination challenge, but I'm doing it and I feel good about that. So that is day 1 to 5 for Tarot Vlogmas 2021 by Papa Squirrel. Again, I'll link his video on this challenge below. I'm enjoying watching other folks' VRs to this one, and I hope to complete more in future as well. Wishing a happy December to everyone, and see you again soon. Bye.